Welcome to my challenge to double the rental income from my holiday homes.
Hello again, and welcome to this edition where I'm going to talk about marketing, where I'm going to begin to develop some of the marketing concepts that I want to use from now on. And one of those key ones is personas. Now, you may have gathered that by looking at all the detail and data on my customers, I am starting to develop a picture of what they look like. This is what I call the persona. But even if I didn't have that data, and you may not, you should still be developing a persona for your customers too. And I want to show what I mean and why it becomes important. I'm going to start by taking a trip back in my career, back to the very start to 1980. Way back then, we had a very simple model of marketing model of all of the different socio-economic groups in the UK. And you see, there is 6 of them. It really is a pretty simplistic model. But hey, this is the one that everybody used. I just hope that nobody uses it anymore. Even then, I was looking at it and going, I wasn't sure what group I fitted into, or my friends, or people that I knew. I know that in marketing now they use a much more elegant model, which has 56 different layers. I'm not going to go into that. But I just want to get over the idea that back in the day, there were only 6 grades and it was a pretty simplistic model. But that actually matched up to what you could do with these, because you would use these to decide how to advertise to them. The advertising options back in the 80s weren't that great either. The biggest advertising medium was newspapers. Delivered by newspaper boys, and there's a shop that I worked from a number of years. Of course there was TV, but back in the day there were only 3 channels and all of them were off for most of the time, and only one of them carried any advertising. There was independent radio, that had been around since the early 70s, but by and large people didn't listen to it. They listened to the BBC channels, which had no advertising at all. By far the biggest medium was newspapers and the occasional magazine. And the most expensive of these was the Sunday Times colour supplement. This was the high watermark, costing £25,000 for a page, I recall. Of course, there was mail order too, but mail order was tremendously expensive. Very few companies had a database because that relied on a huge computer. And those people that did would be the catalogue companies. A couple here were shown who were my clients later on in the 80s. There was very little other direct mail. For the very same reason, only big companies could do it. Networking, exhibitions, word of mouth, they all existed as well, but by and large, that was it. And if you were a media planner in the 1980s, you were really talking about press and TV, a little bit of radio. That was it. Now, things have changed. Now, there's a great video, I'm going to give a link to it, which shows that advertising money has actually gone up since that time, but has changed fundamentally. And the biggest single change is the diversity of other advertising medium. And if I explode this picture out, you'll see what I mean. It's somebody else's image, but it shows you traditional and now digital media. By digital media, we're talking about the internet, but the internet in all of its forms, including email and social media and direct advertising on the internet too. So this gives a very complex view of the mediums with which we communicate now and we advertise. But I prefer a different view. It's this one, it's somebody else's piece of work here and it's great. But if I focus in, it shows to me where everybody's really working now in marketing. They're talking about individual customers, recognizing that customers interact with all kinds of social media and other kinds of, and they watch different TV channels, whatever. It's all about looking at individual customers and narrowing in right on those customers. That's what we need to do, what I need to do. And in fact, this is common. It doesn't matter what the product is. It's the very same message. You need to narrow in on your customers. And it has a direct impact too on how you talk to those customers. Let me just show you what I mean by that. Here's an advert for Butlins Holiday Camp. I think it's from the early 50s. But what it shows is join our happy family. And you'll see here there's a family there. There's mum and dad, there's the kiddies, and then there's a group there which, look, are they teenagers or are they in their 20s? I'm not sure. And then I can see granddad in there, and it's for everybody. Everybody's going to love Butlins because everybody loves the same thing. Really? Maybe they did in the 50s, but that's not our experience now. Maybe they did in that time, because here's another advert This is for a holiday camp in Ireland. In fact, it's one where one of my uncles used to work. And here on their advert, they don't even bother to say who it's for because, again, it's for everybody. They even say, no need to worry about your travel details. We'll arrange everything for you without knowing anything about you. You are going to love it. That's just not how we speak to customers now, because we readily accept that what people want is different depending on who they are. Here's a Butlins advert from recent times. Mums go free. We can immediately see who that's targeted to. Well, it's mums with their small children. And we can understand that where that's going to appear is going to be somewhere where mums with small children are going to look. It's not going to appear where mums with small children aren't looking. So not only have the media that we can use have exploded, but how we communicate on those media has changed. We wouldn't use a generalist advert. We don't talk to customers in that way anymore. We target messages based upon who they are and exactly what they want. And we choose the medium that's best to deliver those messages. I'll give you another example. Two hotel adverts, one from 1980. I don't know that hotel on the left, but very interestingly, doesn't mention anything at all about the hotel other than there's a sing-along with Ben on Sunday night. And presumably, everybody from 4 years old to 84 years old loves singing along with Ben. That is the presumption of that advert. On the right-hand side, we have a different advert. Very clearly, visually and in the words, what's it telling you? Well, it's addressing couples, and they're selling a luxury break to romanticized couples. Great. The flower tells you that, the pictures tell you that, the words tell you all of that. But in fact, it's a Radisson Blu hotel. Now, anybody that knows a Radisson Blu will know that that's a hotel that's often at airports that appeals to everybody. But in this marketing, they are targeting couples with a couples offer, and presumably this is going to appear where couples are going to read it. And so that gives you a clue of the kind of thing that I'm talking about and how we need to change and address our message in 2016. 1980s adverts have a broad audience, they're expensive, and they're written to try and attract everybody. In the 21st century, adverts can be precisely targeted, and they're cheap, and they're written for individuals. Indeed, if they're not written for individuals, they just don't work. One size fits no one, and this is a really strong message. And what that means is, when you're describing your property, when I'm describing my property, I need to have in mind not everybody, and not say, oh, it's great for everybody, because it isn't. We have 2 4-story buildings which aren't great, sadly, for people with disabilities. We're on the south coast of Ireland, so we're not great for somebody looking for a really active city break or skiing. You know, we don't appeal to everybody. We need to appeal to definitive groups. And that is what I mean by personas. And what I am going to develop next are these personas. There could be more than one. There may be one persona which addresses all of the market needs that I have, or more than one. But for a persona, I want to narrow it down to the individual that makes the decision. The person that's going to book. What do they like? What gives them the confidence? How can I address them in words and images such that they know this is the right place to stay? Developing those personas is absolutely key to my success. Thank you.
I hope you've enjoyed that episode of Double My Rental Income, and I really hope you'll join me again. Don't forget, you can find out much more about my challenge and how it's progressing by visiting the website www.doublemyrentalincome.com. And you can sign up on the website too to get the very latest news and some extra special content which I can't make available elsewhere. So please join me again. And remember, if this has been valuable to you, I'm giving it to you for free, but I do make a request. Share it with others, let them know too. I want as many people as possible to start using some of the things that I have spent so long finding out about. Thank you.